Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. That's Eastern Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. I have the absolute most phenomenal guest with me as well. You can find us on television, and that's an Abundance Television syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can find us on all the social media sites. The Newscaster Studio, that's the podcast. So we're really, really excited about everything that's happening. Our move to South Carolina, and I'm going to have some more fabulous news for you. We're expanding big time into that area. So keep watching. We love you. Absolutely. Continue sending emails, Donna@donnasedge.com. I love your emails. I have Amanda Lawrence with me right now talking about wonderful guests, and she's fabulous. And Amanda, talk to us a little, have some new listeners out there. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am Amanda Lawrence. I am the executive director and founder of Chayah Ministries. Chayah Ministries is an organization. We exist to provide Christ-centered resources to women and their children that have suffered from trauma, addiction, and mental health challenges. So really, our heart is that we want to see generational cycles, curses, trauma broken in the name of Jesus, and these women and their children set free.
Well, I'm going to tell you firsthand, it can happen. You can break that. Absolutely. Yes. Because I didn't grow up in the best household myself. But I had the influence of other people, other families, my friends who did wonderful parents. They were just absolutely fabulous folks. So I could see there was another way. But now sometimes people don't see there's another way. They think it's too late. What do you say about that?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main, that's usually what happens, unfortunately, is that it's been happening for generations. And so people find themselves in communities and neighborhoods and apartments in parts of town, and all they see is the same thing around them. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they live in the nice part of town and they have this extremely dysfunctional family, and you have to put on a show and you have to sweep everything under a rug, and you can't tell anybody the truth of what's going on. So both of those things are completely possible, and both of those situations continue the cycle, continue the generational curse or trauma or cycle that will happen over and over again. And sometimes that's addiction. Sometimes it's abuse. Sometimes it's just a general dysfunction. So, and what I mean by that is just maybe some really unhealthy boundaries or communication, or, just some sort of like weird reliance between the parents and the children. All of that stuff can impact our lives in ways that can affect the way that we show up in our jobs, in our families, in our friendships and relationships. And there is a chance to stop it. You don't have to be a victim of your circumstance. You can rise above.
That's a neat thing. I've heard you talk about this before, is we're responsible for our lives. And some of us got dumped on in childhood. Yeah. And so, but we can make that choice. And I love that. And I love that about the redemption of Christ, where is I'm free. I can make another choice if I want to. So Amanda, after the holidays, I did receive emails from folks who had terrible family lives. And some of those were telling me about how much more free they felt, but not putting them in the circumstances. They were around family members, but at a distance.
Okay, good.
And it is freeing. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. I had a client. So I'm also in a master's program. I'm getting a master's in clinical mental health counseling. And my whole heart behind that is to continue in this passion of helping people find freedom. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking with a client, and she was so good at setting boundaries. And she had to be, because growing up, she was in a situation of rage and anger, and her dad would just explode with these outbursts, basically adult temper tantrums. And it wasn't physical violence, but it was like a lot of yelling and just these explosions of anger. And she just doesn't tolerate it these days. and she is completely okay with it. And sometimes, it gets to that. You just have to set those boundaries or love people from a distance. That's absolutely, okay. I think that sometimes too, though, we can take that too far. And people can tell us something that we need to hear, and we can not like it. And then we'll label them, like you can label them whatever. Throw the narcissist name out there. Oh, they're a narcissist, and while that's a real legit thing, oftentimes people walk around in a spirit of offense. And so because of their dysfunction, they are offended by anybody that wants to hold them accountable. And the truth is, we have to have accountability. So we have to have these relationships that are safe, that we know where to set boundaries, where to accept the accountability. We have to have people in our lives that will check us and be like, yo, what are you doing there? Can we think this through? Because if not, we're left to our own, devices, and who knows what decisions we'll make. Kind of like, when you shared before about you had these other role models when you were growing up, you had these other parents. And it's the same thing as we get in, grow up and live through life. I have some amazing role models that show me how to parent from a faith-based perspective. I have a little girl. I'm a single mom. I have an 8-year-old, and it's hard. And trying to parent from with Christ at the center of it is not always easy. Sometimes I want to yell and scream.
And say words I shouldn't say.
Yes. And so I have people that can give me actual tools to, what to do in these scenarios and what to do differently. So I don't have to do it all the same.
I totally agree. 102%. I remember the first time, though, sometimes a person who is a narcissist will call you the narcissist.
Oh, yeah.
And that's happened a lot, too. But I wanted to mention this. A very freeing time for me was several years ago. I'd had enough. It's just like I couldn't. And I didn't say anything back because, and I know a lot of our listeners and watchers have been telling me the same thing. Mm-hmm. They say, well, somebody will say something. They'll treat me a certain way at Christmas or over the holidays or whatever. I don't say anything because I know it's going to start World War III. And I was that same way. I would just let it go and think, okay, they didn't mean it the way it came out. And then I decided one day, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So feel, and it all happened. God always has a plan. So my husband comes in from work and he says, how would you like to live in Charlotte, North Carolina? And I'm like, when do we move?
Yeah.
Know anybody there? And I said, well, what's in Charlotte? And he said, well, got a job promotion if you want to do it. And he said, no, if you want to stay here, fine. He was hoping I'd want to move too because he saw things too. Okay. And so he said, if you want to, we can go. We got 6 weeks. We can move. Company's paying for it. The whole works. And I'm like, this must be a God thing.
Yeah.
And I know it was because things were just lining up. I sold the house at the yard sale, by the way. And it was like a week before we sold. It was a meant thing. It was meant for us to move to Charlotte. But I remember when we were going, it was moving. I hate moving. I mean, I'm not a mover.
No,
I would stay with them. But it was freeing. Even though it was a lot of work, it was hard. You find out you got stuff you don't need when you move. And so we were on our way to Charlotte, and Phil said, aren't you worn out? And I said, sort of, but not. And he said, well, tell me about it. Because he wants me to talk it out. He's one of those. And I said, I told him he should have been a philosopher or something, in an earlier life, But anyway, he said, just talk it out. And I said, I'm tired, but I'm not tired. I said, I feel free for the first time in a long time. I feel free. Amanda, there's something about feeling free.
Mm-hmm. Donna, you're right. And I think that freedom, I know that freedom from walking in the will of God is energizing, right? He tells us that he's our strength. That we're strong in our weakness because of him. He's our strength and our weakness. So while you physically had all of these things to do to move, your spirit was energized because you were right where you were supposed to be. Donna, I recently had that. I was a recruiter for the last 9.5 years. And to finish up school and to launch Chayah Ministries, I stepped away from that full-time job to devote to both of these. And I have never been more energized. And I don't have less work to do. I have Chayah Ministries does not pay what a recruiter paid. I mean, it's a brand new organization. So I have a lot more work to do. Financially is a completely different story, as well as my internship. But the energy that I have from walking in my purpose, it means so much. And, I look back on some of the environments that I put myself in, and I realize like they can be draining. And so when you get to step away from that and into the environments that God's called you to, it's a whole different ballgame.
You got it. I mean, you're spot on with that. So let me ask you a question. Okay. So I felt free. I mean, because I was away from some of these crazy family members. But then again, I found out through a friend who said that a family member said that I was just running away from things. But I wasn't running away from anything. And then I got to thinking about it. And so I asked my friend the question. I said, okay, how did she seem to you? And she said, well, she always seems miserable, like she hates herself, like she's unhappy, whatever. She said, but I'm just telling you because I have never seen you more energized.
Yeah.
And then I said, I feel like I could take on anything right now. And I haven't felt this way in a long time. How do we stop people from poo-pooing on what we do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think we can stop them, but we can decide how it's going to affect us. We get to make a decision. And when we know if our decision is right, we know. And so it's standing in that knowing. It's standing in that. And for me, it comes back to faith. Like if God's called me to something, honestly, it doesn't matter, what anybody else really thinks about it.
Spot on.
Right. Because it's God if he's called me to it, then I have to do it. The other thing I wanted to mention was the whole running away part. So there is that, like, there are people that do that. I've done it before. And there's the whole old saying that no matter where you go, there you are. But there's so much that can happen mentally, emotionally, spiritually in a fresh start. And so remove yourself from the old environment of whatever it is, dysfunction, negativity, toxicity, whatever it is, and go to somewhere new, but then fill yourself up with a community of believers, with healthy practices, with healthy habits. That's where you're not running. You're actually facing in an environment that will allow you to grow and in an environment that will allow you to continue to heal. But expecting somebody to stay in an environment that's not good for them and then blossom, it just doesn't make a bit of sense. That's like, I don't know, I'm looking at my dead garden right now. I'm looking out my window and I see my dead garden because it's January in Nebraska. And like, I could go out there and water those plants all day long, but nothing's going to happen. The environment is not conducive to their growth right now. Mm-hmm. I can't expect them to be blossoming and producing fruit when it's freezing cold outside. It doesn't matter how much I water it. And we have to think of it that way, like sometimes it's just time. It's just time to get away so that we can truly grow and heal.
Yeah, because you don't want to be dying on the inside. Because I'm just telling you, my husband doesn't want to be with a woman who's dying. I mean, he'd stay with me no matter what. But I'm just saying, I want to be the best wife I can be. And I don't want to be dying on the inside. I want to be of life.
Right.
I want to be a seed, that's planting and giving more. I had a boss who was fabulous. Well, I've had several good bosses, but this one in particular, I'd started a job. And so I wanted to be the best employee she'd ever had. And it was the first management job I'd ever had.
Okay.
So I really wanted to show her my stuff, and because she was fabulous. And I learned a lot from her. So she just called me in for a meeting. And I'm thinking, first thing you're always going to think, especially when you're a young person, is, what have I done?
Yeah.
Am I about to get fired? So there goes that thing, just from the environment I grew up in.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting with Kathy. And Kathy said, we need to talk seriously. And I said, have I done something I shouldn't have done? Or should I have done something I didn't do? And she said, I want you to stop trying to do everything. You're not going to get a year's worth of work done in 6 weeks. That's not what will happen. And I said, well, I don't want you to think I'm lazy, because I grew up, even though I worked myself to death, thinking people telling me I was lazy. And I was like, I'm going to be lazy. I'm always working. But anyway, and she said, I don't know where you're getting that from. She said, you're not working smart. She said, you should be able to do everything you're doing 4 days, take 3 days of the week off. And I said, you're my boss and you're telling me I could take 3 days off? And she said, yeah, but there's a secret to it. And I said, what's the secret? And she said, the secret is not a secret. She said, you put God first, family second, the job third. And I said, you're my boss. You're telling me to put the job third. She said, you're going to be a happier person. I'm going to get more out of you, and you will not be so tired. She was seeing the bags under my eyes, and I was young. I was in my 20s. She said, bags under your eyes, and you should not have bags under your eyes.
She cared.
Oh, she cared about me. And I'm going to tell you, I still love that woman. She passed away a few years ago. And I still remember she's one of my role models. She was one of my favorites. We're going to have to go into a commercial break, girl. Can you believe over half the show?
It always happens so quick.
We're going to have to go to a break. We'll be right back, I promise, with some more great news for you. We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. I have Amanda Lawrence with me right now, and she is, girl, I've learned a lot from you. I'm like a sponge. I just love being around you. So let's talk more about the ministry and how folks can get in contact with you. And, are there volunteer areas that people could help with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And they are nationwide opportunities. So this is really cool. So I'll give you a little bit of an insight to what we're doing on a regular basis. And then I'll share some of those opportunities with you. So, we talked about the importance of leaving an environment that's not serving you. We just, Don and I were just chatting about that. And we truly believe that in our core at Chayah Ministries. And so we offer 4 services that kind of help facilitate you transitioning to a new environment. The first one is groups. We have Chayah groups, and these are groups that we take out into our community. And our community is both here locally in Omaha, Nebraska. So we've got 2 in-person groups launching, but we also have 2 virtual groups launching. And so just tonight, oh my goodness, I've got 2 volunteers that are launching a group tonight, the day that we're recording. And we have women from Nebraska, Colorado, Iowa, and Virginia, and Georgia, all on our group tonight. So it's really awesome. And that's one way that women can get involved. They can contact our organization and go through a group themselves, and then they can lead a group. We go through different resources. The one that we're loving that we started last year and we're using this year, it's called Keys to Freedom. And so it walks through 7 keys to finding freedom in Christ. We also have mentorship or discipleship available to every single woman. So when you're trying something new, like if you're going to the gym or eating something new, or like a new, like diet or meal plan, it always helps to have accountability, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And so the whole idea of this mentorship or discipleship is to have a woman to come alongside you and to help you. Just like I was talking about earlier, I have these fabulous women that will walk alongside me and help me figure out, how do I do this parenting thing? So it could be something, as not as easy as parenting. I almost said that parenting's not easy. It could be something like parenting, or how do you study the Bible, or how do I walk life as a Christian? How do I live life sober? It doesn't matter. Having somebody to walk beside you. Additionally, we offer free counseling to women in Nebraska. So that's only in the state of Nebraska right now. And then lastly, we want a home. We want a home that women and their children can come live in, and they can learn to heal together so they don't have to be separated. Women are not getting the help that they need, primarily because they're afraid of what's going to happen to their children. And so we want, and that's truth, that's statistics, that's across our nation. And so we want a place that women can come to, and they can get the healing that they need, and they get the parenting help that they need, and they can get the education and the training that they need to live a new life. So best way to get connected with us is to go to our website or find us on Facebook. Our website is www.chayahmin.org. And you can, like I said, look us up on Facebook.
How many people that you communicate with who are having issues are almost afraid to tell you what the problem is because they're afraid you won't believe them?
Oh, that's a really good question. To be quite honest with you, Donna, I don't know what it is, but people tell me their life story the first time I meet them all the time. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I go places, I start to talk with somebody, and they just share it with me. But I think that the reason is because I'm a safe place, and I think people can
Yeah.
feel that.
I can feel it with you.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to brag. I've just been through some stuff, right? And so my heart shows, that compassion shows. But that doesn't mean that that's the case for everybody, because there are plenty of people out there that I don't talk to and that haven't reached out because their shame or their guilt or their fear. And that's one great thing about the internet is you can just go type it, and then the person that's going to call you is me. When you fill out the form online, I'll call you first. I'll chat with you. I'm bound by confidentiality, so your information's not going anywhere. And it's a safe place to decide, what is the best option for you to get plugged in.
Mm-hmm. And that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's just, it's again, I keep mentioning the word freedom. And again, we're moving to South Carolina.
Yes.
And I just feel this overwhelming freedom. Nothing feels better. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
My husband says, I've got you back.
Yes.
I'm Donna again. And so sometimes we can be in a situation and we realize we don't know what kind of an aura we're putting out to people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I mean, I really didn't. I guess I got too much into myself. How can we get self out of the way and just let God handle it?
Oh, Donna, we need another show for that.
I'm my own worst enemy.
I know. I'll give you a quick way. And I think it's through service. I think it's through serving others. But that's not all. Sometimes you need a little bit more help, right? Sometimes you need a little bit more accountability. You need a little bit more. Sometimes you need counseling, which seems opposite of what you really should be doing. Like you're going to counseling to talk about yourself, but really it's to solve whatever the issue is so you're more available to those around you and you can show up as a whole person as opposed to broken and wounded.
I know there's a facility here in the town I'm in, and there are women who are in this facility who are broken. Mm-hmm. And so some of them have talked about going to a particular church and they sing, they do, and these women feel free. I love being around them. They're awesome women. But they've talked about how some of the people in church look at them as if they're dirty or something. Mm-hmm. And so I do crafts. So what I would like to do is go once a month and just do some kind of craft together. And so one of them said, "Thank you for not looking down on us." And I said, "Why would I look down on you?" And then one of them said, "Well, we went to a church and people were just kind of looking at us. Some of the people were looking at us like we were just trash or something." And I said, "You're not trash. Let me get that plain with you. You're an awesome person." And one lady said, "Yeah, but I was looked down on because I gave my kid up for adoption." And I said, "You are a hero in my eyes."
Yep.
And she said, "How could I be a hero? Everybody else talks about how bad it." And I said, "Because you put yourself out of the way and you put your kid first. Yep. You could have had an abortion and you didn't do it." I said, "You are a hero, lady."
Yes, absolutely. And people need to hear that because there is a stigma. I remember being a single mom in church. I was pregnant in church. Like, what am I going to do here? And I had a woman that just came up and loved on me and made me feel welcome. Mm-hmm. Didn't make me feel like I didn't belong because I was pregnant in church. And since then, my understanding and my identity and my relationship with God has just skyrocketed. But it's because she loved me and didn't make me feel
that one person.
Yep.
And sometimes you can be that person in that church.
That's absolutely right.
You can help somebody. Amanda, we got to go. I can't believe it. Okay, real quick, your website.
Yes, my website, www.chayahmin.org.
Okay, and hang around for a minute. Okay, I'm going to get you scheduled for next month. You're one of my best see people. Okay. All right. And thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely keep sending emails. Donna@donnazedge.com. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.